hour, I suggest that we start. So welcome everyone. I'm Elena Perigi. I lead the security services strategy at Symphony, and I'm delighted to host the latest in our partners webinar series that today is going to focus on the importance of real-time access to quality data. Before we start, I would like to invite the audience to type their questions in the comment box. We'll collect them, and towards the end of the webinar, we'll answer your questions. But now, without further ado, I would like to welcome Wendy Askew, Channel Development Manager at ETD. Wendy, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Hi, Eleanor. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to speak with you today.
Thank you, Wendy. Wendy, clearly we've been working closely over the last 6 months. I got to know you very well, but do you mind telling us about yourself and your background?
Sure. So I started with ETD at the beginning of the year. I've got over 10 years experience working with partners, mainly in the IT sector. So this is my first role working with the capital markets. I'm really passionate about helping partners to be successful. And I really feel that if they're successful, then we're all successful too. And I've certainly felt that working with Symphony and yourself, Elena.
And I can witness that your passion is really contagious. So Wendy, tell us a bit about ETD. I'm conscious that you've recently gone through a rebranding exercise. So some of the audience will certainly know ETD by its previous name.
Yes, that's right. So ETD is the new name for Euromoney Trade Data, a global futures and options reference data company. We've got unrivaled coverage of the exchange traded universe with over 110 exchanges covered, which is why clients include 9 out of the top 10 tier 1 banks globally. So ETD is part of Euromoney Institutional Investor Group. They are a global B2B information services company which focuses on data analysis and market intelligence with customers in over 160 countries.
So ETD is part of the Euromoney group. I must admit, when we first started working together, I was pleasantly surprised to learn how big Euromoney actually is.
I must admit, I'm very surprised how many brands Euromoney has within the Euromoney Institutional Investor Group. So as you can see, there are many brands within the Euromoney Group, all of which create content and data, which Symphony users will find interesting. So we sit within the financial and professional services business. And as you can see in the derivatives pillar, we are alongside structured retail products, which is another data provider, and also the derivatives publications, Global Investors Guide, Total Derivatives, and Futures and Options World.
So a wealth of reference data offered across the Euromoney group. Why don't we start focusing on today's topic? So real-time access to quality data. Now, before I joined Symphony 3 years ago, I worked for 17 years in investment banking. So to me, I don't see the problem as being accessibility to data, but it's mostly integrity of data. So is the data really accurate? Has it been verified? And then accessibility in the sense of, can I really access the data when I need it without having to navigate my firm to find the answer? What other challenges do you see in the space, Wendy?
Well, Eleanor, I totally agree with you. Those are definitely big challenges that organizations are facing. And we also see that getting data to the right people at the right time as fast as possible is another of those challenges. So with the introduction of the T+1 settlement goals, which have to be achieved by 2024, this has really brought the issue into sharp focus. And I feel that there are 3 parts to this issue. So the first being siloed data. And we find our customers typically take our data via API or CSV, and this is then loaded to the back end of either a well-known large application or a custom-built application. There are still many legacy systems out there, and there's also the rise of cloud solutions. Because this data is loaded in this way, it can be difficult to see gaps or whether the data is accurate or not. And it also means that data can be siloed between systems, departments, or organizations. The second issue is around communication. And we're still very heavily reliant on email, pretty much across every industry, but especially in this industry. And ops departments, for example, can receive around 5 million emails per month, which, let's face it, is a huge number. And it would be horrendous to face that many emails, let alone wait for your query to be answered in that queue as well. And this means getting data that you need can be slow and tedious. The other is around additional software and adding more applications. Sometimes it isn't the answer, as organisations don't have the funds, the time, or the manpower to implement new software. And let's face it, software is only as good as its adoption. So it can be a bit of a risk to implement something that isn't adopted by the users.
So totally agree. So between the two of us, we've already identified a few challenges. So we said integrity of data, data being siloed, fragmented process, communication, and maybe we can spend a few more seconds on communication because that brought back some memories. And on top of this, we said regulatory changes, and we all know regulatory changes are not nice to have. They are something you need to comply with, and regulators want accurate data in real time. Also, you mentioned communication. So the 5 million emails exchanged or received by an ops team within an organization you're working very closely with. It sounds like a staggering number, but I was saying that reminds me of my time in investment banking, where a good part of my job was about answering client queries. And actually, that was the part of the job I really enjoyed the most. The queries were coming mostly via email, and there were hundreds of emails every day just in my inbox, let alone the rest of the team. So unless I knew the answer, I had to navigate the firm. I had to go to one team, sometimes two, sometimes three, and it could take anything for any query between a few minutes and 30 minutes. So if you multiply that by hundreds of queries, to be honest, then if it was a trade status, I had to investigate. By the time I found the answer was after 30 minutes, and I was going back to the client, the status had actually changed. So not time efficient, and certainly not accurate anymore. So with all this being said, how do you think ETD can help solve these challenges?
Well, that certainly sounds frustrating, and that's why we've created the TaDa bot. It's a chatbot that sits on the Symphony platform to resolve those 3 issues that I mentioned. So in terms of siloed data, I love that Symphony can sit across anything and everything, no matter the department or the organization. And in terms of communication, because it's a communication platform, it allows users to get the information themselves, cutting down unnecessary and lengthy email trains, and they can share that data across the platform. So regardless of the department that they're speaking to or the organization, that information can flow very quickly. And in terms of more software, I love the fact that Symphony is so widely used. So it doesn't require a huge software implementation. Users are already used to using Symphony. They're already used to using the simple syntaxes to get information if they're using other bots. And you're getting your tier 1 trusted data instantly via the platform.
Very excited to see the bot in action. And by the way, TaDa, I love the name, the magic behind the name. So before we start with the demo, another question for you. Let's speak about the partnership between ETD and Symphony. Why did ETD decide to partner with Symphony? Maybe we can also touch on the dynamics, how the 2 teams worked and how we collaborated also with iPushPull, that is the technology behind your bot.
So we chose Symphony because it's the largest online community of financial institutions globally. And we also love the technology within the platform, especially the roadmap and what's coming down the line. And we can't wait to get that incorporated into the bot. Working with iPushPull, who partnered with yourselves and with us for the last 6 months, has meant that creating the bot on our pod has been pretty easy to do. And working with you, Elena, and the rest of the team for the past 6 months has made creating and deploying that bot a really exciting project to work on. During the proof of concept stage, I felt the team really came into its own as both ETD and Symphony worked really well to get that customer feedback, which we then incorporated into the bot. And I push-pull meant that changed a lot of the bot to ensure that syntaxes were really easy to use, the information was coming really quickly, and although we've had our challenges making sure that those changes were incorporated really quickly, we worked really well as a team to resolve these.
Totally agree. It was 3 teams, different skills. We really complemented one another very well. We worked well with the clients who agreed to be our proof of concept testers. So it was a great experience, as you said, with challenging at times, but then very rewarding when we saw the bot coming to life. So why don't we crack on with the demo? If a picture is worth 1,000 words, let's show how TaDa bot works in action. Mijang, so I would like to thank my colleague Mijang Bukin. Mijang manages the EMEA and Asia partnership team, but on this occasion, Mijang will help us with the demo so that Wendy and I can really focus and talk you through what you see on the screen. Mijang, thank you. And if you're ready to go, we are ready to show TaDa. Thank you, Mijang. Wendy, why don't you start and talk us through what you see on the screen?
Yes, certainly, and thank you, Mijang, for doing this demo for us. So as you can see, Mijang has found the TaDa bot in the directory, and she's typed in TaDa and connected to it, and she's presented with the welcome message. And within the welcome message, you can see a list of simple syntaxes to get you started, to get the data that you need, and allows you to search the data sets available in the bot. At the moment, we have corporate actions, exchange calendars, new contract listings, historical transaction data, and one of our symbologies that we offer, which is OpenFiggy. So, Eleanor, should we kick off with a corporate action search?
Let's do that. So I'll go through a few use cases. So let's imagine I'm a corporate action rep and I'm tasked with monitoring the ICE exchange. So I want to see what are the upcoming corporate actions on that exchange. And for me, it's as easy as typing CA, easy command for corporate action, easy to remember, space ICE. I click, and then within 1 or 2 seconds, the bot is sifting through all the millions of data sets actually at the moment, and bringing back all the upcoming corporate actions in the next 30 days. So let me tell you what you see on this table. So on the left-hand side, the exchange, no surprise, I looked for the ICE exchange, but I could have done a wider search. It had been the manager of the team, and I wanted to know what my team was going to be spending their time on in the next few days. I would have done a global search, and below the exchange table, you would have seen the various exchanges and the various corporate actions. Let's skip symbol just for now, then the contract name, it's a feature, then the description of the corporate action. So it's a demerger. But then within the demerger, there are sub-classification. It's a spin-off. Then the effective day is going to be 1st of December, so just today, something to action today. There is the icing, there is again a hashtag, and then there is a notice. Let me go back to the second, so symbol. This is what we call a hashtag that is very slick and helpful. So you can see when I hover over the hashtag, it brings back quite a few other third-party providers we are integrated with. So it means if you are looking for information on Brookfield Asset Manager, you can find all the information available today in the market, providing you the license with other these third parties. Euromoney is also enriching these, and over the next few weeks, you will see even more Euromoney information below the hashtag. So I found this really, really helpful across departments. Then something that I think is very useful, if we scroll to the very right-hand side, is the notice. So today we've been speaking about integrity of data and data verification. If you click on the notice, it takes you back to the ICE original notification. So there can't be anything more accurate and more official than the notification coming directly from the exchange, especially for some countries in the emerging market. You need to compare two sources to guarantee that the corporate action is it's correct and the details are correct. So this is very handy, but also to be noted that for countries in Asia and also some countries in Europe like Italy, where the notifications are issued by the exchanges in the original languages, TaDa bot also provide the English translation next to the original language. So very, very useful. No need to go around and to find someone translating the notice in the original language. So if we go back to the table, now we know everything about the corporate action. Now, as we said, it says that it's effective actually today, the 1st of December. Now, clearly, I'm sitting in London, I'm in the office, I'm speaking with you. I know it's not a bank holiday here in London, but it could be something at the back of my mind that tells me that today was a holiday on the ICE exchange. So nothing easier than for me to query the holidays calendar by typing an easy command, Alt, that is a short form for holidays, space ICE. I hit return, and what the bot is going to bring back, it's the list of all the upcoming holidays. I can see many just before and after Christmas Day. And I actually see that the first day is on the 6th of December. Clearly here is saying Iberclear. So when I look for ICE or for any other exchange, it will also include all the exchanges that have been acquired or that anyway are part of the wider exchange world. So today means that was correct, is a good day, and I'm ready to process this corporate action. That is the second use case. Something else I would like to show you at Symbology. So when we spoke about Symbology, ETD is the biggest provider of Symbology in the market. So for the less familiar with Symbology, Symbology is a market standard agreed by market participants, whereby the market is calling the financial instruments with the same symbols, the same codes. So once you book the trade, you know, you're all calling the same instrument the same way. Now, one of the most commonly used symbols is the Bloomberg Open Figgy, but by no means is the only symbol. There are many, many symbols in the market. So let's assume now, let's pretend I'm a rep in the regulatory reporting team, and I'm going through the hundreds of my daily breaks, because every day I have hundreds of breaks, and I'm looking specifically at a future contract. It's a FTSE contract executed for an expiry date in December 2023. The reporting is flagging a break that suggests so the symbol we book the trade under is incorrect. So again, nothing easier and faster than for me to go on TaDa and type in FTSE, because we say that it's a future option. We are looking for a FTSE space. FTSE is the contract, so I will type FTSE. And then this is a contract that was executed for expiry in December 2023. In the future terminology, December is Z23. I hit return, and now the bot will peruse through the data and will bring back a table with every single FTSE contract that is going to expire next year, December 2023. So each contract will have a different identifier. So towards the middle of the table, you can see Bloomberg Figgy. Now, the trade that is breaking, the one I'm looking at the moment and I'm working on, is the second with expiry 14th December. So I can see the correct symbol finishes by BJ6. but I can see on my report that my sales desk booked with the first one, the first line. So there is a confirmation the trader was misbooked. Nothing easier. Now I can use this data, send it to the sales desk or to the middle office and ask them to amend. So by Symphony, nothing easier. You can forward the message and the desk and the middle office have the evidence of the misbooked, then on the wrong symbol and the correct symbol. So these are just the 3 examples of quick queries that you can process. But when we said there is a lot more coming on TaDa. So why don't you tell us what's next for TaDa and what's next on the horizon in terms of our partnership at ETD and Symphony?
So we have much more functionality about to be released thanks to our friends at iPushPull, who'll be updating with the pod to allow watch lists. So if you load onto the TaDa bot a list of the instruments that you wish to follow, as soon as any changes happens to that particular instrument, you will get an alert, which is fantastic to be able to apply this to our bot. We're also working on cash equities and fixed income data, which will be made live on TaDa bot very soon. But in the longer term, we will be making our full data catalogue available on TaDa with our flagship product, Symbology. That we have the most comprehensive catalogue of symbologies for futures and options globally. So we have, and we also have unrivaled coverage of the exchange traded universe with over 110 exchanges covered. So there's a huge wealth of data that's due to be put onto the TaDa bot. So definitely watch this space. We have a lot more to come.
Sounds like a very busy time ahead of us. And just to clarify, all the new releases, they are all based on clients' demands. So the clients have been adopting TaDa. They came with additional requests. So we are enriching the bot just to offer the users of what they really need. So very busy time. Really pleased to hear that, because it means it's not the end of us. We'll continue working closely together for the foreseeable future. So now, conscious of time, I've just been provided a list of some of the questions posted. So let me go through some. We'll answer the others offline. Okay, Wendy, I'm reading the first. It's very long, so let me try to read and then we'll answer. So my firm already has an established automated corporate action workflow. Can you expand on how you see your bot adding value to those already automated processes? So if I reread it, it's the question for you, Wendy. I already have my workflow. Why should I change it for TaDa?
Yeah, that's a good question. And what we're finding is we're often one of many data streams into our customers, and customers stick with us because of our accuracy. We're often seen as a great data set for validation. And in this case, I would advise using TaDa alongside their existing workflow for quick lookups and data checking. And then obviously they can take a longer term view on sticking with TaDa.
So if I recap, the long answer to the long question is TaDa is not to replace your workflow, but it's really to complement your workflow.
Yes, in this instance, yeah.
So, Wendy, what interest are you seeing in the market for TaDa?
So we've seen a great deal of interest, especially from those on the proof of concept and wider still as we're starting to release TaDa into the wider market. And customers are asking for more data, which is fantastic feedback, as it shows that the bot is really useful and easy to use, and they want to incorporate it more into their workflows. But we also have an amazing customer who's worked with us really closely throughout and wishes to be able to white label this version of TaDa for their own customers. And thanks to the technology on Symphony, we're able to offer this with third-party chats to enable people to use it with their own clients as a white labeled version. So we're really excited about this.
Thank you, Wendy. And it sounds like you've already answered, I'm going through the list at the top 10. So there are another couple of questions that to me read exactly like these. They are about the white labeling. So the answer is yes, you can easily white label the bot as your own firm bot. Next one on the list. Are commitment-free trials available already?
Yes, so we do have a 30-day trial available, and the trials are based on email addresses or users rather than the organisation itself. So this allows different departments to test at different times. So please don't feel that if you try the bot, it's going to take out of the whole time available to your whole company. If you do need an extension for a wider proof of concept or to test the bot further, then please let your Symphony account manager know, and we can get that set up with them.
Thank you. So just to reiterate, if you work within a large firm, and let's say the corporate action team is starting testing today, the 1st of December, the trial is 30 days, and then the regulatory team starts on the 15th. So doesn't mean that your clock is ticking off starting from the 1st of December. It's an individual trial period, and anyway, there is additional flexibility. It's just a matter of contacting you, and you will allow all the time needed for testing.
Yes, absolutely.
I can see another that is, I think, quite interesting. So, Wendy, you mentioned I push pull. Who would my firm contract with, I push pull or ETD?
So iPushPull have provided the technology on our pod. So they've developed and designed the bot with us, but all of that has been put onto our pod within the Symphony platform. Therefore, the contract will directly be with ETD.
So directly with ETD, because it's your bot. And let's take the last one. If I want to discuss more offline about ETD, who should I reach out to? Symphony or ETD?
So your first port of call will be your Symphony account manager, and we're working really closely with the sales team to make sure that everything required to help you is available, and they will also work directly with us as well. So we'll definitely get to meet you soon.
Thank you, Wendy. I see we are on the hour now, and I think the clock is ticking off. The video will be taken soon away from us, but I would like to thank you, Wendy, for joining us today, and I would like to thank the audience for joining us, being part of the conversation. We'll come back to your questions, the one we didn't cover today offline, and thank you again, and speak soon.
Thank you.